Hi, my name is Brodie and I'm having an interview with Programme Coordinator for Religious Roots of Europe, Andreas Westergren.
So I'm Andreas Westergren. I'm a church historian. I'm a lecturer in church history, but I'm also teaching in the Religious Roots of Europe's master's program.
What do you think the value in studying religion is?
I mean, religion is entwined with the whole human history, so that you can, whatever time or whatever place you're looking at, you can be sure to find religion there. And it's not so easily distinguished as it might be for people today. You say religion is in my heart, and then I go out and I do something else, and it's not about religion. Because if you look at history and how societies develop, religion is religion and law and ethics and so many other things are intertwined. And so if you want to understand any history, any society, you need to know much more about religion than most people do or even realize.
Can you talk about like all the different people, all the different backgrounds that come together to form the class in each year?
It's so different from year to year, I mean, perhaps I could tell you of the first group of REs that I have had when the program started 15 years ago. And within that group, I mean, we had a few Swedes, and then we had two guys from Pakistan who started in the program without knowing one another, and then we had a guy from Romania who disappeared and came back as monk. So within that first group of people, and we had a woman working on an embassy. So within that first group, I mean, each person had a different experience of religion. Some from within, inside religion, and some from outside of religion. And that's kind of typical, that you never know what an RE student is like. There's no typical student. But it might be a student coming from Asia or Africa or Sweden, and they are all very different, and that's what makes the beauty of the program, all these encounters between people that would never have met otherwise unless they have had this shared interest.
And it's interesting, you mentioned there's such a diverse group of people coming in.
Yeah.
How do you see the program as shaping people?
I do think that I could say that I see how students change also on a personal level. And if I compare these students to many of the students taking the normal BAs, the REs are often much closer to one another. They don't always meet a lot, but when they meet on compact seminars. So they create very close alliances. I mean, we even have a few married REs now. Where they go afterwards is also different. I mean, we do see that a lot of the REs consider writing a PhD. They are as successful is another matter, but we also have quite a few who have continued with PhDs and have careers by now. But then people also go into other directions. Some go into professional ministry within, I mean, we've had both imams and priests or future priests in the program, so they go into religion as a professional profession. And then, of course, people take other directions as well.
Yeah.
We would like to have more lawyers, more journalists, more people who don't come from a religious background necessarily, because I think that kind of expertise is really important for people working in those fields.
How does the teaching overall look?
I mean, the RE is a program where you study at 3 universities at the same time. You can study it partly on a distance. It's not something we recommend, but you could stay in your own country as long as you come to the compact seminars. Each semester we have at least one compact seminar when we would meet in a specific place. You'll go to Copenhagen in a week's time, for example, and then you have exchanged with your teachers. And then in addition to the compact seminars, we also have a few excursions. All students travel to Rome for 2 weeks during the first course, and then maybe to Israel and Palestine or somewhere else. So there is an online component, but then we also have the compact seminars. And then we encourage our students also to be at their university if they can. Because then you can have coffee with your colleagues and you can help one another doing your studies, which is always beneficial to be in that milieu that a university is.
Yeah, and what has been your most impactful interaction with the program?
It's so hard to say. I suppose that one of the excursions that we have done on a regular basis, the trip to Israel and Palestine, has been very impactful. Because when you travel to a place, we travel there to study a historical topic. But when you go to the Middle East, anywhere, you see how history is so much part of the present, and that you have to engage with the present as much as you engage with the past, that you cannot address such a situation such as the Israel-Palestine clash without understanding the past. So going there, you realize how past and present is part of the same, and that you need to develop a very careful way of talking about things.
Yeah. And is there anything that you think should be mentioned?
Well, maybe something more about why we study history. Yeah, because people think that history is only the past. But as a matter of fact, history is very much part of the present. And as historians in the RE, the Religious Roots of Europe, we study a past that's normative for Christians, Jews, and Muslims. And studying the past, we will be part of changing the past, because history is not as stable, but it changes every time you look at the past. Think about your own past. Every time you look at it, it changes a little bit. And the same goes if we study the past really carefully as we do as academics. So studying the past, we change the past. And that way we can be part of changing the past. So I think that's so dynamic to study the past, and it's so important because the past shapes the future. It's not only ideas about the future that we need, but we need to think about what the past is like, our own past, but also the broader past. And I think in the RE we give attention to a history that hasn't been studied together before. Either you're interested in Christianity or Judaism or Islam, and you have one interest. So only by studying them together, something new happens. And that, I think, is really important. One more thing about studying history, because I think that, and this is something that I learned from my own supervisor, that in this world what we need is learn to engage with one another and engage with people that are very different from ourselves. And one way of practicing this learning to know someone else is to study the past, Because if you study history, you will see that people were very different from yourself, even people belonging to the same religion, sharing the same convictions, and still you see that they were very different from yourself. So studying past people is not just studying history, but you learn yourself to engage with people that are different from yourself. So that's something that you learn for the present, and which I think is also helpful for how we learn to engage with people of other faiths and other convictions than our own. And that, I think, is really needed in our world today.
If you have any questions or would like to reach out to us, please check our website, which is linked in the description below, or you can also reach out to Andreas or I.